y'all, welcome to Furensics, where true crime meets the animal world and every creature deserves justice. My name is Nana. If you are new here, hi, welcome in, and if you're returning, glad to see you back, boo. I know, y'all, I know. I've been gone for like 3 weeks, y'all. Life has been lifing. I'm talking about, it ain't even trying to let me get back up at this point.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. This is what?
It's not even trying to let me get back up, y'all. But I'm sorry. I am here now. I also want to take the time out to thank the 26 people who have subscribed already. Like, y'all, I am just so ecstatic. I'm just so happy that y'all, like my content enough to subscribe. And I get a couple comments here and there. Literally a couple. But it still counts for something. But thank you guys. Like, I really thank you guys. It means a lot. It means so much that y'all subscribed. So shout out to the 26 subscribers that I gained. Hi, welcome in, and please stay here. Okay, all right. Okay, y'all. So today we're gonna be talking about another true crime animal case that I just had to tell y'all about. But without further ado, let's get into this video, right? Well, after I do this, we can get into the video. Today's story is going to be about Tatiana, the Siberian tiger. Tatiana was a 4-year-old Siberian tiger that was born at the Denver Zoo, but was later transferred to the San Francisco Zoo. Tatiana was known to be smart, strong, and very active, and she also showed no signs of aggression whatsoever. That is until one incident that occurred in December of 2006. During feed time, a keeper accidentally opened up the wrong door, and Tatiana was able to reach through the bars, grab the keeper's arm, and yank her into the enclosure with her. The keeper did survive, but she did have nerve damage in her arm following the incident of the attack. This is the only known incident that occurred with Tatiana a year prior to what we're about to get into. Now, OSHA did come out and investigate this incident, and what they noted is what I need y'all to note. Okay? What OSHA noted is what I need you guys to note as well. OSHA noted that there was poor communication between staff, an unsafe enclosure layout, and training failures. Note those 3. Thank you. The zoo also was notified about the incident, and they also received the proper documentation regarding the incident. But just like with Todd the elephant in our last video, nothing changed, and that's why we're here now. Now, Tatiana, she lived in what was called a cat grotto, and this specific enclosure was built in the 1940s, and it does not live up to the modern day standards that we have on today. And it also did not live up to the standards for back then either. So I'm going to tell you guys how it was built. It's a concrete pit, a 12.5 foot wall, a 29 foot deep moat. There was roughly a 33 feet distance between visitors and the moat edge. No intrusion alarms, no electrical wiring, and no top mesh. Now, y'all, I'm not no mathematician, but hearing about a tiger having a 12.5 foot wall, I don't know, the anxiety that I had reading that was insane. Cause I know y'all lying. Y'all wouldn't have caught me at that zoo back then. Absolutely not. A 12.5 foot wall for a tiger? Insane. That's insane. I'm sorry. That is diabolical. Now, in today's time, for a tiger, they need a wall that's about 16 to 18 feet. San Francisco had that 12.5-foot wall, and it was also deemed to be the lowest in the country during that time. The zoo also was very aware that they had the lowest wall in the country through an accreditation report. But I guess they were cool with having the record of having the smallest wall, the shortest wall, because they did not change anything about the wall. Matter of fact, I think that if the incident that occurred did not occur, they probably would still have that same wall up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So now, you guys, if we fast forward a year, we are now in 2007, December 25th, 2007 to be exact. Now, although it was Christmas, people still went to the zoo because, you know, zoos, they do things like zoo lights and things of the sort. But people were still in attendance at this zoo on Christmas. Y'all used to work at the zoo, and it used to make me so mad when y'all would show up on Christmas talking about some hot cocoa. You ain't got your own hot cocoa at home? Why are y'all come up here to pay $10 for some hot cocoa when you could have got a whole box? Now, on Christmas, around 4:30 to 5 p.m., people began to leave. People were getting their things to go home. The zoo was beginning to close during this time. It was noted that the sun also began to set because, as we know, in the wintertime, the sun does set earlier than normal. It was also noted that some visitors were still there at the zoo during this time, although they were closing, but it wasn't that many people still left. And the zoo does normally close at 5 p.m. as well. I also want y'all to take a mental note about something as well. During these hours, tigers are their most active. This is considered dusk, and this is where they do majority of their hunting. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, amongst these 25 people, there are 2 brothers and their friend by the names of Carlos Sousa Jr., that's the friend, and Paul and Fulbir Dalawal. And of course, these 3 end up at Tatiana's enclosure. Witnesses actually reported later that they heard screaming, heard loud yelling. They saw someone leaning over her railing of the enclosure, and they also saw something thrown into her exhibit. Investigators also found a shoe that matched the size of one of the 3 men that was at Tatiana's exhibit that day. Between the hours of 5:08 and 5:10, it was reported that Tatiana did the unbelievable, and something that the zookeepers thought was pretty much impossible. She walked towards the moat edge and she jumped. Now, y'all, I'm not a mathematician by far, by a long shot. But I don't understand how they thought that that was impossible when it was a 12.5-foot wall. Am I tripping? Y'all let me know if I'm tripping down below, because I don't understand how they could say, how can y'all say that? How can y'all say that? How can y'all be like, well, I didn't think she would do something like that. Excuse me? We have a whole predator, an entire predator out here. And you mean to tell me that y'all didn't think that she was capable? Y'all thought y'all thought that this apex predator was incapable of jumping? Forensic reconstruction showed that her jump was 10 to 12 feet of horizontal motion at a 58-degree angle, over 14 feet vertically, and she cleared the 12-foot wall with no problems. So with this information being said, it showed that she didn't slip, she didn't struggle, and she was able to clear that wall and land on her feet with no problems whatsoever. This also shows how underbuilt the enclosure was, and how it was not suitable for a tiger at all. So in the report, it was said that Carlos was the closest to Tatiana when she jumped out of the enclosure, and she latched on to Carlos and she began to attack him, essentially. Tatiana actually clamped on to Carlos's neck and shoulder area. She bit, clawed, and essentially mauled him to death. Carlos had deep puncture wounds, a severed carotid artery, and he suffered from massive blood loss from this attack. It is also reported that during the attack, Carlos was telling his friends to run. People believe that he sacrificed himself because he didn't have a chance anyway, since he was the closest to Tatiana. So he told his friend Paul and Colbert to truck it out of there and he'll take his loss. He's a W friend. I will give Carlos that. He's a W friend for sure. Because, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. But, I don't know. All of us got to find a way to live. You know what I'm saying? I can't go home without you, big dog. Guys, if you don't know anything about tigers, I'm going to educate you really fast. But normally tigers, once they attack, they stay with their prey typically. But in this case, Tatiana did not stay with her prey. She went on a hunt. So Big Mama, she decided to track down the Dollar brothers because she wanted to get her stuff back in blood. And boy, let me tell you something. I know one thing about tonight with show. I'm not messing with no tigers. Look, let me tell you. After reading the story, I don't even know how people own big cats at this point. And I got a couple cats myself, but they regular cute little house cats. But all them leopards and all of that, and jaguars, cheetahs, no ma'am, won't get me. No ma'am, will not be getting me. It is reported that Tatiana tracked the brothers down by their footprints, their scent, blood droplets, and their motion in the light. Now, I know you guys are wondering, how was she able to track them with blood droplets? Because I wondered that as well. Well, after she got done attacking Carlos, or while she was attacking Carlos, it is reported that the brothers were trying to help Carlos during that period of time, but of course there was nothing that they could do. But he had arterial spray of blood that got onto the brothers, and that is how she was able to track them, because she had already smelled Carlos and had the taste of him in her mouth. So when they fled with his blood on them, she was able to smell that. Y'all can't pay me to mess with no big cats. Listen, y'all can't pay me, I'm telling you. Recipe for disaster. Also reported that Tatiana tracked them about 300 to 350 feet away from her enclosure, which is also abnormal for zoo tigers. They do not do stuff like that. In my opinion, this is showing that Tatiana wasn't randomly doing this, that there was a cause and effect, which of course we're going to get into that later. But there was also a cause and effect. I believe that she was running off of pure adrenaline and agitation at this point. So Tatiana finally catches up to the Dollar brothers, and she attacked Coolbeer first. It was reported that Coolbeer had multiple lacerations to his arm and his back, well, arms and his back, as well as severe leg injuries during this attack. Now, during this time, Coolbeer's brother Paul is trying to distract Tatiana by yelling and throwing debris, and as soon as he got her attention, she was on him like white on rice as well. And during this time, security did not have a tranquilizer ready, and a vet that they had on call needed about 10 minutes before they would make it there to mediate the situation. At 5:17 p.m., police finally arrived and they found the brothers at a cafe. It was reported that Coolbeer was severely bleeding and his brother Paul was hiding behind a trash can. There was multiple blood trails everywhere throughout the entire cafe, and that is when the police see Tatiana. Officers actually reported that when they saw her, she was walking low, crouching low, as in like she was about to pounce on her prey. Look, she bad to the bone, baby, because after she did those attacks, she said she wanted some more. Let me double back on that. And I'm not trying to be funny, but you're going to see why I'm saying things I'm saying in a minute. But that is how officers described her, is if she was about to pounce back onto her prey. So officers decided to scream at her before she made it to the Dalloway brothers. And that is when she turned her attention to the officers and she ran up, she charged. Tatiana was about 20 to 30 feet away from the officers before she decided to run up to them, and they unfortunately fired 3 to 5 shots directly into her chest, and she collapsed and passed away. The exact time of death for Tatiana is December 25th, 2007 at 5:17 p.m. A necropsy was performed on Tatiana, and it showed that she was a healthy 300-pound tiger. She had no illnesses, no known drugs, and all of her injuries strictly came from gunfire from the police. She also had no slip injuries from when she escaped her enclosure as well. So in retrospect, the enclosure is what essentially failed Tatiana through this entire story. Her enclosure, if only it was tall enough. Now here's where we can go ahead and dissect what happened and why Tatiana did what she did. There is evidence, according to the police that was investigating that day, that these 3 young men, they were taunting Tatiana. They were throwing things at her, screaming obscenities at her, and essentially it pissed her off, and that is what caused her to hunt them down like they were a gazelle running for their life. That is the root reason as to why Tatiana did what she did. Like I said, everything is cause and effect. It was also reported that the Dalloway brothers had THC in their system as well as alcohol, but their friend Carlos was clean. He had nothing in his system at the time of the taunting. Now, Carlos' family sued, and they sued for negligence, unsafe enclosure, and insufficient security. And it's believed that they received about $1 million from that settlement because they settled confidentially, so no one knows how much they technically received from it. And of course, the Dalloway brothers also sued the zoo because regardless of the taunting, the wall was way too low, so they were able to sue them, and they received $900,000. So yeah, you guys, the idiots won in this situation, unfortunately. Now, I'm not saying that Carlos was an idiot because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he was also taunting Tatiana during this time as well. But due to, him passing away, we gotta have respect. So, but the Paul and Kluber, y'all are idiots. I'm sorry. And I said what I said, and who gonna check me about it? Nobody. But yes, y'all, that is the end of this video. You guys, I don't know. Tell me what y'all think, because, I mean, of course, you gotta protect, the people, but I don't know, I feel like they should have been held accountable too. Like, you don't get to just antagonize and taunt a wild animal and expect them not to do what wild animals do. But am I tripping? I might be, but I'm just saying, y'all. Rest in peace to Tatiana, y'all. And thank you for coming and joining with me on Furensics today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you get notified every time we post, so we can save the world one paw print at a time. Bye, y'all.